We are currently in weather delay in Ottawa, but we are going live here on GameDay After Dark. And of course, your Winnipeg Blue Bombers post-game show here on Bonfire Sports. Zach Schnitzer will join me in just a second, but to catch you up as we are going live, there is 2:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Blue Bombers trail the RedBlacks 23-17, and the official stoppage time for this game was 10:15 Eastern time. That's 9:15 Winnipeg time. Okay, but we're going to work off Eastern time because this game, of course, is in Ottawa. This game will be called a final, despite there being 2:09 remaining in the fourth quarter, if this weather delay goes past 1 hour. So if we reach 11:15 Eastern time and they are not able to resume the game, the Blue Bombers will lose to the RedBlacks 23-17. They are expecting, according to multiple reports and people on scene, that they will resume the game at 11:15 Eastern time. That is 10:15 Winnipeg time. And we will keep you once the game resumes or if the game is called a final here on Game Day After Dark. What's going on, Schnitzy? Getting things started a little bit early here with 2:09 remaining in the game.
Hey, I got kids, dude. I got to work tomorrow. This delay, I mean, if they lose or the rain delay, that really sucks, but I don't want this to go all night. I can't afford that. I got to have perspective now as a real adult.
Yes. Well, these are the realities, but it's good because we've got everybody covered. TSN's filling time, CGOB's filling time, but we're filling time, and we're going to show you video highlights of the game right now as we wait for this game to resume. And then once the game resumes, we'll play clips kind of like on a slight delay, enough of a delay where, we won't get into trouble with copyright infringement and all of those sorts of things. But we got you covered here. You can keep it right here on Game Day After Dark and Bonfire Sports. By the way, if you've never been here before, my name is Darrin Bauming, joined by, as always, my right-hand man, Zach Schnitzer. I'm a reporter. Zach bleeds blue and gold. He is a super fan. And, that's kind of our dynamic here on the post-game show on Bonfire Sports. If you're watching live on Instagram, and I see a ton of people are, and you want to get the full screen, there's nothing I can do about it. It's an Instagram thing. If you want the full screen, head over to youtube.com/bonfiresports. If you search Bonfire Sports Winnipeg on YouTube, you'll find us there. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Bonfire WPG, just like we are on Instagram. You'll find all of that there. But we're going to look at the stats. We are going to play some game highlights, including the injury to Celestin Haba. The Blue Bombers defensive end did not look good. Some of the good plays, some of the rougher plays that we've seen through, most of this game, with Winnipeg trailing 23-17, now in weather delay with 2:09 remaining in regulation.
I'm just shaking my head, DB. I'm shaking my head, buddy. Like, even if the Bombers come back and win this game, which they probably won't, judging by the way that...
Why do you say they probably won't? They're down a score with 2 minutes remaining. What do you mean probably won't? That makes no sense.
They're on the Ottawa 42-yard line. But the way that the O-line, the interior O-line is getting manhandled, dude, in this second half.
Agreed.
It's not good. And Collaros, he's great. He has great pocket awareness. I think any quarterback, DB, would rather have the edges kind of close in so you can step up and throw than having the interior of that D-line close in, or the O-line, sorry, because then you're hooped. He's not going to dance around two defensive linemen, whether it's Malden or whoever else. What's the other guy's name? Lang is in there.
Bryce Carter.
It's just it's been a disaster from Kolinkowski, and Neufeld has looked really like he's really struggled.
Yeah, I agree with you, Schnitzy. The offensive line protection in this game, is it because Brady Oliveira isn't there to be the threat that he is? Is it because Winnipeg hasn't really tried to run the football? I'm going to pull up the game stats in just a minute,
yes, sir.
And get a look at things. But, what's your take on why you think this is happening? I think it's because Winnipeg is a little bit out of sorts. And I'll be honest with you, this is the sloppiest football I have seen from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in years, like a long, long time. They were bad last week against Montreal and the loss at home. They've been pretty sloppy and bad in this game so far. But they have found ways to hang in there. They have found ways to score, which is a positive. Keurig Wheatfall, I'm going to pull up that highlight in just a second of his nice 43-yard catch and run. I think it was 43 yards, but that set up a score. And, you know, they're within a score of a team that is, you know, this is Ottawa's first game of the season. They've been preparing for Winnipeg, you could argue, for a month.
All right, when you put it that way, it doesn't sound so bad. I just think the Bombers knocked the rust off last week, and they got the
Did they knock the rust
They
off,
got the
though?
rust knocked off of them last week.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Yeah,
I just think if your O-line is struggling with that, and maybe it's because Brady's not in there for protection, but, you know, Brady's not offering protection in the interior of the O-line. It's usually on the edges for a guy blitzing off the edge or something, right?
Yeah.
I think Kolinkowski and Neufeld are struggling a little bit.
I think a
Particularly
whole bunch of them are
Kolinkowski.
struggling.
Well,
I'm not just gonna put it on
but
two
I'm
guys.
talking about last week too, DB,
Sure.
where the Montreal Alouettes handed the O-line their lunch, particularly the interior with Mustafa Johnson again, you know, turnstiling Kolinkowski once, getting by Neufeld. So I think that's been you know, a little bit of an Achilles heel for the Bombers so far. And I guess when I think about it, if I'm Buck Pierce, how do you take the pressure off a struggling O-line? Like, I think you run the ball. That's a big way to take pressure off
Yep.
an O-line.
Yep.
And they haven't run the ball. They attempted it 4 times in the first half for 13 yards or something like that. Like,
Yep.
the bomb, and on the flip side, you look at Ottawa and what they're doing on the ground with some nobody, Armstead. They have just been torching the Bombers, particularly on first down. And it's just, I think that's a bit of a microcosm of the game, or a bit of a game story there. And I'm surprised they're not running the ball. I know Augustine isn't your starting running back, but you do have Chris Streveler. What about some design runs on first down? Where's the RPO from Streveler?
Michael Chris Ike. You can run him
Where's
too.
Michael Chris Ike? Yeah.
You know,
But
Nick
the
Dembski.
RPO from Streveler can throw a D line off their timing, off their momentum.
Yep.
I don't know if I get the play calling. Now, if Ottawa's stacking the box on the D line and with the linebackers to stop the run, I get it that you're going to take yourself out of a run play, right? You might throw the ball, but then where's the screens? Where's the shallow crossers? Where's the hitches? You know, you see every team in the CFL, you know, they like to throw it out to the wideout on a quick hitch. The Bombers never do that. So I'm not sure I love their play calling on the offense.
Yeah. Johnny Augustine averaging 4.4 yards per carry. That's not too bad. Chris Streveler has run 6 times for 7 yards. Of course, a lot of that short yardage. So, you know, understandably, that his average is low. But it's, you know, Keurig Wheatfall, who was on the practice roster week 1, he's your leading receiver. And they just haven't run the football a lot. 7 carries for Augustine, Streveler short yardage, Collaros able to pick up 4 yards one time. I'll pull up the, just while we're here, you know, Zach Collaros, 50%, 231 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of those picks, Zach, of those picks was a tipped ball, and you can't hang that on the quarterback. It was, again, that offensive line not giving him enough time to operate. But the second interception, he did have time and just kind of underthrew. I believe it was Dalton Schoen on kind of like a deep post, a deep crossing, diagonal crossing route, a deep post route where he couldn't get it over the linebacker. So, that was an instance where, Zach Collaros did not look particularly good. But as a team, here's the offensive numbers. 15 first downs for Winnipeg. And of course, still 2:09 remaining here. And I think they've actually, it kind of stinks, Schnitzy, because you get a weather delay right when Winnipeg flips the field with their offense, putting together a couple nice plays, and they had some momentum rolling. And now that momentum is big time in question. because they got to come out of the locker room. Both teams will be cold. Both teams got to, come off a potentially a 1 hour delay here, as they are scheduled to get things going at 11:15 Eastern, 10:15 Winnipeg time. So in about 25 minutes. And Winnipeg's offensive momentum that they've been trying to find all game long is now potentially gone. So for Winnipeg, they've got to be better offensively. 37% on second down is not good enough. And to run 42 offensive plays with, like average gain, okay, they've had some, some nice big plays that have helped. Keurig Wheatfall has, been pretty good. But to your point, to run the ball 14 times and pick up 42 yards, like you pulled out a number, Schnitzy, of in the first half what their running numbers were.
Yeah, they ran the ball. They attempted to run the ball 4 times for 11 yards, and that's with Chris Streveler.
That was in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's just, it's a little bit, and the rain's coming down. I was excited about this season, Darrin, because Streveler was coming in, right? Streveler's not a backup quarterback.
It's game 2.
I know it's game 2, but
well, you're talking past tense.
You have a weapon in your arsenal named Chris Streveler, who can do multiple things. He's not a backup quarterback. He's a 1B change of pace quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to utilize him in a game where it calls for that weapon to be utilized, where it's raining, where the O-line is getting manhandled, and where Augustine isn't getting a whole lot, even when they were trying to rush the ball, though he did have the touchdown? Where's the RPO? Where's the design run from Streveler? Where's getting it out on the perimeter? Where's pitching the ball out to a Streveler, having a 2-quarterback set? Or pitching the ball out to Augustine, for that matter? I just didn't see them do enough. And by the way, we're over 700 live viewers right now, DB, which is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Way to go, Firestarters. I love it.
Yeah.
But it frustrates me. There are more plays than I can even say that are ways to get the ball out quickly, even if you're not going to run the ball. I don't quite understand Buck Pierce's play calling. I know it's Zach Collaros. I know he is borderline Hall of Famer. I know that he's been a gamer. I know that he's probably should have been the MOP last year, and was the MOP for 2 years in a row, and has won 2 Grey Cups and been to 4. But you can't just have him drop back and pass every play against a D-line like that. Like Ottawa, here's the other thing. I know I'm going on and on. I'll just finish with this.
You just made $40. Sasha, super chat, quote, start drowning your sorrows, fellas.
Sasha, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's be honest, though. I haven't made $40 because you still haven't sent me any of the super chat money.
That's true.
You still haven't sent me any of the super chat money. So, Sasha, I appreciate that. We need to pressure. It's probably like at 50 G's by now.
Are you calculating interest on that? Because then I'd be in trouble.
I could make a terrible joke with that, but I won't. Here's what I wanted to say, though, DB. Just
you agree with Daryl? Offense is just bland and too vanilla, says Daryl.
Yes, it is too vanilla. Yeah. I don't care how good Zach Collaros is. They also are missing 2 starting receivers, Darrin. Or they're not missing 2, but they're missing their best receiver in Keddy Lawler.
They're missing 2 huge offensive weapons. I don't think that's the problem, though. When Collaros doesn't have enough time, the O-line is having busts all over the field.
I get it, but when he doesn't have enough time and the O-line is having busts, what kind of play calling are you going to use to help your offense out? You have to adjust to the game. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Ottawa is getting pressure. They are not doing anything fancy on defense, DB. They are getting pressure with 4 linemen. They're rushing 4. I barely seen them blitz. They're dropping back 8 into coverage. And that's the way we used to play defense. At the height of Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson was, okay, if we can get you with 4 and we can drop 8, you're hooped. I've said you're hooped twice this short segment already, but
that's all right.
You're screwed. You're screwed.
Zach Schnitzer's new segment. You're hooped.
You're hooped. Right? Like, if you can get pressure with 4 and you don't have to blitz, and then you have all those guys dropped in coverage, you're pressuring the quarterback, and then he has nowhere to throw it to.
Yeah.
So I think Ottawa is just dictating it on defense. There's been some flashes from the Bombers DB, like that big 76-yard bomb to Wheatfall. Money Hunter's been victimized. He was also victimized on the Dembski 47-yard catch or whatever it was. But there's been some, highlights, so I suppose. But he even had Wolotarski dropping a second down catch. So, like, that's, uncharacteristic. It really killed the drive. So it's just been sloppy. I think you texted me, buddy. It's been sloppy. And for the Bombers to come out sloppy 2 games in a row, unacceptable, really.
Huge thanks to Christian Paulson dropping a super chat and $20. So Schnitzy,
Wow.
you're up 3 green queens, as I like to call them, $60.
3 green
Christian,
queens. That's good.
Christian on YouTube says, agree with everything you guys are saying. Thanks for keeping it going during the break. Thanks for joining us, Christian. Huge thanks for the super chat. Christian, Sasha, like legit fire starters in the live chat tonight. Love it. This is what I'd like to know for everybody out there, because, once this game resumes, we'll continue through. People are asking, we're going to stay on. And I'll put, I'll put some clips on, on enough of a delay so I don't get into issues with, copyright and all of that stuff. But we are expected this game to resume in about 20 minutes. So hang tight with us. I've got highlights. We're going to look at the Keurig Wheatfall big play that set up the Blue Bombers score. We're going to look at the injury to Celestin Haba. He did not return to the game. I don't think we've seen Dietrich Nichols for a good stretch of time either, Schnitzy. But Donnie Boy mentioning players on the field by 10, that being 10 Winnipeg time, 11 Eastern, and then an 11:15 Eastern restart. But and by the way, minute left in the third period, Florida Panthers leading the Edmonton Oilers 4-3. But you don't want to watch that.
4-3. Oh, the Oilers caught up a little bit.
Oops. What did I do to you there? Look at that. I really messed you up.
You're not giving me super chat money. You're messing up me on camera. I don't want a close up. I've got big pores. Big pores. Nothing good in there.
What did I do here? I got to see if I can re-straighten you out here. Schnitzy. I got to lock the screen so I can fix you up. There we go. Hey, how's that? How's that, everybody? We're back on track.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can just see the chain there on the edge. And of course, our amazing custom made mug by our friend Sandy over there in the corner. Of course,
okay, yeah.
And you got my Zach Collaros bobblehead, and I already broke one of my bobbleheads.
Right there.
Yeah, there's the mug from Sandy, and there's the. Did I talk about my board game last time?
No, I don't think
my buddy Sean gave me.
Yeah,
got
there
it
it
from
is.
like a garage
That's
sale.
Beauty.
It's called Canadian Armchair Football. It's from like the mid '90s. It's a board game. It's incredible. But I've already broke a Zach Collaros bobblehead. I took one to my office and then I knocked it over with my bag and it shattered on the floor. I guess that was a bad omen. I think that was before the season started. I think it's my fault that Collaros is struggling, DB.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know you gave me a little bit of issue with what was my fault last time. So, that's okay.
What was your fault last time? Not giving me super chat money then too?
Yeah. What was my fault last time? I forget now. Yeah.
I was piling on you at one point. I was.
You were.
Yeah.
You're really piling on me. I didn't like that.
Donnie Boy just put on the chat final. What? Is it a final? No, it can't be.
Well,
it
must be the hockey game. Yeah.
Oh, listen, the hockey game. Who cares about the hockey game?
I want to pull up some of the highlights here. What do I got? Well, that's the final drive here. Give me a second, Schnitzy. Tell me, get into your game notes that you sent me about the Blue Bombers defense and what you're seeing from them while I pull up this highlight.
Well, one thing I'm seeing from the defense, DB, is that they've had a couple of highlights. They've had that Devin Adams sack, that Willie Jefferson had a sack. There's been a few nice plays from the DBs. You had Cramdy with a nice knockdown. So there's been some highlights, but what I've noticed is the defense in a game that Big Hill was coming back, highly touted return of Adam Bighill, DB.
Yeah.
And they are getting torched in the run game. and they're getting torched on first down.
You don't think Biggie's
And
been pretty good?
I can't like I'd have to rewatch, right? Like there's so much going on in football, in 4D chess, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
But Biggie, I haven't noticed Biggie do anything great. I haven't noticed him get burned. But when your vaunted middle linebacker, Hall of Fame middle linebacker is coming back and everyone's getting excited, and your defense gets torched for over 100 yards by a rookie on the run game, when last week the defense was actually really stout against the run, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of the strengths of the team, or the only strength of the team was defense. And they have been getting torched on the run. Even had Braylon Addison running, and maybe he's a slot back, right? Maybe that can confuse a defense, but Braylon Addison has run before. Like you should know that's coming. I've been really disappointed in what the defense has done, particularly against the run, I would say. But at the same time, they've held Ottawa to 23 points, with several short fields, especially in the first half, which was a result of bad kick coverage. DB
Mm-hmm.
again burning us. Now they've actually evened that out in the second half. Their kick coverage isn't pretty good. So
Yep.
I give Mike Miller and his crew credit there. They tightened it up. But what's the super sticker? 6.99. What's a super sticker?
I don't know. But I tell you what, I did something and I
I
really
like it.
screwed up all the graphics on
Thanks,
the
Scott.
screen. But there's
What are you doing with the graphics? You're giving me a seizure.
I'm giving you a seizure. Why? Because I'm doing this live on the air. There we go. There's the logo. Okay, what is this here? Super
Westman, I
sticker.
still owe you a beer, buddy. I tried to give him a beer. He won a contest, a GIF contest I did on Twitter, and then I couldn't find him, so I drank it myself. But I'll
Yeah.
find you next time. I'll
Scott
find you
Westman
next time,
says.
Westy.
Scott Westman says character holding their head in their hand, saying "incredible." Not sure what that's referring to. Hit the live chat and let us know there, Scott. Appreciate it.
I didn't guarantee they'd win, Freezer. Come on. I didn't guarantee. I said they probably will.
So
Or did I guarantee? I don't
here
remember.
is the Wheatfall long catch. Oh, wrong one there. Hang on. And Schnitzy. This is in the third quarter, midway through. Zach Collaros, deep shot. Keurig Wheatfall just torches the
Money
Ottawa
Hunter.
RedBlacks defense and gets taken down at the 4. But just a huge play from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers rookie receiver that set up a score and got them back into the game, got them their first lead of the game. And if you watch, they'll show a replay here as we continue to watch. But Keurig Wheatfall on the left side of your screen, off screen, but here he is coming onto the screen. He just burns Money Hunter, who was the top cover man in the Ottawa RedBlacks defense. And whether it was a zone look and he kind of had the under coverage and the safety help or the halfback help didn't come over, regardless, Keurig Wheatfall just said, "Here I go," on the go route. And a good look at the Blue Bombers rookie wearing number 88, Keurig Wheatfall, coming off the practice roster and stepping in for Kenny Lawler with a huge play to get Winnipeg back in the game. And just to update everybody, because I'm sure you're watching the live chat, and listen, if you guys are watching on Instagram, head to youtube.com/BonfireSports, or just search Bonfire Sports Winnipeg on YouTube. You'll find us there, and then you'll see the whole screen. Nothing I can do about Instagram going vertical, but this game will resume at 11:15 Eastern time. That's 10:15 Winnipeg time. And it'll be if it resumes in about 11 minutes, it will be exactly 1 hour of a weather delay in Ottawa. If this game is delayed further and they're not able to get things started at 10:15 Central, 11:15 Eastern, it will be a final 23-17 RedBlacks win over Winnipeg. So everybody, players are back out on the field now.
Okay.
And action expected to start in about 10 minutes. And what's good is we will keep you here on Game Day After Dark during the resume of play in Ottawa. And,
Come on,
I'll be
Darren.
sure to,
Resumption during the resume. The resumption. Where's you're such a wordsmith usually.
as we
Resumption.
resume, as we
Resumption.
resume. Yeah.
Where's your gumption for the resumption?
I don't, what? Love it. My gumption for the resumption. Is there anything, you sent me some copious notes. I love that.
Oh, dude,
And,
you asked me. You were like, let's create a document here. They'll share with me, and I was like, I was
yep.
ready to go. I
Kyle
was ready to go.
Kyle hit a super chat, $13.99. Let's effing go, Bonfire. Yeehaw, boys and gals. Heck yeah, Kyle. Thanks for the super chat. Schnitzy, you're gonna get a new pair of shoes, my man. Woo-wee.
Oh, dude. This is what now it's $73.99, and last year I probably had like 150. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Who needs sponsors? Just send me the super chat. We're over 1,000 live viewers, DB. Look at that.
Love it. Want to pull up, and thanks to everybody for joining us live. We're going to carry you through. So again, get on YouTube, Bonfire Sports, and follow us there. This was something goofy. The Bombers. Well, here, let's do this. The Bombers are back on the field. This is just a few minutes ago. You'll see just a few minutes ago. This is, oh no, I'm not able to do that. Okay. I got all these buttons.
Thanks for joining us, folks. See you later.
I got all these buttons here, man. Holy cow.
That's good. That's good.
This was a weird moment with Jeremiah Masoli on the RedBlacks sideline. Did you notice the Schnitzy? I don't know. He was down on the ground. Here's the thing. Jeremiah
I didn't even know what happened there.
He's on the 6-game injured list. He is not in the lineup. He is not healthy to play. Obviously had that really bad leg injury late last season. They hope to get Jeremiah Masoli back towards the end of the season. The way Drew Brown's looked, though, I mean, it's Drew Brown's job to lose. But Masoli, prolific player in this league, and has just had no luck with the injuries. But something happened during the third quarter where, early in the fourth quarter where Masoli went down and needed attention. But very, very peculiar moment there. Sure hope he is okay. And
talk about a non-contact injury.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was, but maybe it was a contact injury. Maybe he got bumped into on the sideline. I don't know.
He didn't look happy. He looked kind of stunned there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was down. He was down on the ground. Did you like what you've seen from Drew Brown, the former Blue Bombers quarterback, who, by the way, how long has it been since I've been saying he would be a starter in this league someday? Now he is.
No, dude, you called. I will give you toot as much as you like. I can't smell it from here because we're online. But Drew Brown, you said it from the beginning. I will give you credit for that. He's here's his numbers: 20 of 33 for 60.6% and 238 yards and a touchdown, efficiency of 92.7. This is his. He started before, but this is his first real start, and he's with a team that is much maligned, right? He's now the franchise quarterback. They finished 4 years in a row on the bottom of the East Division. They've missed the playoffs 4 years in a row, and he is beating the defending Western Division champions 23-17 with 2:09 to go, with a defense that has been excellent. So he if he gets his first, even if he doesn't get his first win here, DB, he's I don't know, the student is outclassing the master, that's for sure. He says he has a touchdown. Zach Collaros has 2 picks, one of which was definitely Collaros' fault.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing with that though? Yep. And where do you stand with this? And this might be the hot take of the century here, but I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying we should have kept Drew Brown and got rid of Collaros. That's man. What do you think of that? What do you think that?
How do you move on from a guy that could have easily been the MOP last year, brought this team to 4 consecutive Grey Cups, and has still got gas in the tank. Like, I shouldn't even put it that way. I shouldn't even say like he's still got gas in the tank, because that makes it sound like, he's on the decline. What have we seen from Zach Collaros this year? Not very good play. But if there was one game and you needed to win it, who would you rather have? Zach Collaros or Drew Brown?
Here's my answer to that, buddy. Is it in the playoffs? And the reason I ask that is, if it's a playoff game, Zach Collaros has played 8 playoff games for the Bombers. He has not been very good in the playoffs.
He won really 2 Grey Cups.
I know he won 2 Grey Cups.
The Grey Cup 4 straight years. Hang on. You're saying he's not been good in the playoffs, and he got the team to the Grey Cup 4 straight years. What do you mean he hasn't been that good in the playoffs?
Statistically, he's not been good in the playoffs. Now, let's go back. Now, do we want to do this now? This could be a longer conversation, because
we want to do this now. The game has not resumed. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Drew Brown versus Zach Collaros. And hit up the live chat right now, everybody. I want to know your take. Should the Bombers have moved on from Zach Collaros, or should they have done what they done and kept the future Hall of Fame quarterback as they do?
Okay, if you take the average of his 8 playoff starts, and that include for the Bombers, and that includes the Grey Cups, DB, he is 68%, which is pretty good. Which is very good.
Very good.
He averages 210 yards a game, 0.75 touchdowns a game, and 1 pick a game.
Yep.
Meh. He has, in those 8 games, 6 touchdowns.
We're talking about
8
playoff
interceptions.
Games. Oh,
6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Look at 2019. In that Western semifinal in Calgary. Baby. He didn't have to do much. He had that one deep shot to Darvin Adams. Chris Streveler won them that game. He then goes into Saskatchewan in the West Final, the infamous, game where Cody Fajardo hits the bar. Collaros played well that game. He threw for 267 yards, a touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Why do I have these numbers at my fingertips? Because I actually was a nerd and looked at them a few days ago. I had a coffee with my buddy John Hodge from 3 Down Nation, and we were talking about it. And I said, "Is Zach Collaros good in the playoffs?" So I had to look it up, and I texted him about it. In the Grey Cup that year, he threw for 170 yards. That was the Grey Cup in 2019 where Andrew Harris goes off. Zach Collaros didn't have to do much. Streveler threw a touchdown pass. Streveler even caught a pass. Collaros wasn't asked to do that much. The defense won them that game, and Andrew Harris. Okay, go to 2021. They won the West, so the Western final when the Riders came in. He was 17 to 21 for 229, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. The defense won them that game, and that's the game where Andrew Harris went off for like 150 yards. So Collaros didn't have to do much. Then the Grey Cup in Hamilton, 21 of 32 for 240, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His 2 interceptions nearly broke the back of the Bombers. And yes, he won it in overtime, and he had a great fourth quarter, Darrin.
So, Zach, I'm just going to interrupt you because the game is just about to resume. We are going to keep you here on Bonfire Sports all the way through and kind of give you a little bit of a play-by-play as it happens. But right now, it is 1st and 10. Winnipeg has the ball on the Ottawa 42. They trail by 6. With 2:01 remaining and the clock counting down. We obviously can't pull up the game live due to broadcast rights and all that. That's obvious. But this is Collaros and the offense in a 5-receiver set, and he's going to deliver left side and find Dalton Schoen at the 31-yard line. So a nice pickup there and a first down on the first play. So there's a little bit of momentum that Winnipeg's been able to continue through.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're still not running the ball. Like honestly, like I'd be trying to kill the clock here. I love this live play-by-play though. Wouldn't you try and kill the clock so you can have a walk-off or leave Ottawa with no time left?
1st and 10 from the 30. Collaros now throws it far side, finds Drew Wolotarski at the sideline. He was pretty wide open too. So 2 consecutive first downs to get things going now that the game has resumed. And Winnipeg is in the score zone. They are, they're at like they're inside the 15. They're down to the 10.
That's
So
great, but they're
trailing by
leaving
6.
Ottawa with too much time.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When you get close, that's when you can start running the clock down. I don't think you want to run too much clock before you get into scoring range in a 6-point game. And by scoring range, I don't mean field goal range. I mean major range, to score a major. So here is first and goal from the 7. Collaros going deep right side to Carrick Wheatfall, and it's just beyond his reach. Wheatfall collides with the gate, to keep the fans out of the end zone. Money Hunter in coverage. So it's going to be second and goal from the 7.
Deep shot on goal to go from 7.
Well, not a deep shot, but
the ball
to the edge. It's a fade route to the back of the end zone. That's not a deep shot. My mistake.
Put in Streveler, RPO, run the ball right on the edge.
I know you want to run the ball.
You're going to get like 4 or 5 yards minimum.
But they just picked up like 30 yards on 2 plays passing the football. So now it's second and goal from the 7.
Oh my God.
And Collaros has time. And he delivers to Dalton Schoen. Huge play from the Ottawa RedBlacks defender to knock it away. It was kind of a medium out route, maybe a yard or two inside.
Huge play.
A yard.
I thought it was the Bombers play.
Well, I'm going to call a huge play a huge play. I don't care what color of the jersey the guy's playing. It was a huge play to defend the 7-yard out to Dalton Schoen. But this was an end zone attempt. And Damon Webb, second-year player, I believe, great job extending the body and getting his left hand on it to make it third and goal from the 7 for Winnipeg. And down by 6 with 55 seconds remaining. Winnipeg's going for it. 3 receivers to Collaros' left and 3 to his right. Pressure is coming, steps up in the pocket, and he is sacked. So Winnipeg turns the ball over on downs with less than a minute to play, and Ottawa with a 6-point lead. Huge stop from the Ottawa RedBlacks, and it is their free agent addition, Adarius Pickett, with just a monster sack of Zach Collaros. Wow.
Listen,
Winnipeg's going to fall to 0-2 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is a microcosm of the whole game, Darrin. Bland play calling, uninspired play calling that wasn't adjusting to what was happening in the game.
Yeah. Which
was pressure up the middle on Collaros. And they throw 3 straight passes from the frickin' 7-yard line. Like, it's just it's uninspired.
I disagree. I know you're champing at the bit, to borrow Matt Dunnigan's favorite line tonight. You're champing at the bit to get this super creativity going, right?
Not super creative. I'm not even asking for super creativity. But you're on the 7-yard line. Run the ball.
Well, they don't have Brady Oliveira. Johnny Augustine is not a power back. He's 5'9" and less than, he's probably 200 pounds. Not a power back.
I would have put on 1st and 7 yards to go. I would have put Streveler in, and I would have faked the ball to Augustine on the RPO.
As soon as you bring Chris Streveler in, they're stacking the box. I don't mind using your best player on the field, Zach Collaros, to, he's sending 6 receivers out. I don't hate it.
I don't know. I think
Damon Webb saved the game. Damon Webb saved the game by knocking down a pass attempt to Dalton Schoen in the end zone on 2nd and goal. That won the game. Got to give him some credit.
I do. I do think that, but if you're stacking the box and Streveler goes in, then fake the run and have him have a short throw to a guy in the flat where he can, where he's one-on-one coverage. If they're stacking the box, it's one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
I just think there were so many different looks the Bombers could give on 7 yards to go. I don't love it. I don't like it one bit. I get Collaros is an excellent player. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I spoke too soon. Winnipeg has done a great job on defense here. There is 35 seconds remaining. The play clock at 15, so they could get this pretty close to 20 seconds remaining. Richie Leone standing on Ottawa's 1-yard line. He's going to punt this one away to give Winnipeg an opportunity to get the ball with maybe 10, 15 seconds. Well, they're going to give up the single, of course. So Richie Leone killing as much clock as he can. There's 15 seconds remaining. This will
You can
make
give
it,
up the safety,
pardon
right?
me, giving up the safety. Yeah. So this will make it a 5-point ball game. So it's still a touchdown difference that Winnipeg needs. There's 14 seconds remaining here. And I believe Winnipeg's going to be able to elect to take the ball at their own 40-yard line. You got to go
Wouldn't
60 plus yards.
wouldn't you want to return at this point?
It takes too much time.
Yeah.
It takes too much time. So to keep people updated, 23-19, Ottawa leads Winnipeg, 15 seconds remaining. And indeed, here comes the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense. And what I'm going to try to do here, Schnitzy, if you can kind of just take the wheel as we watch the last 15 seconds here to see if Winnipeg can make some magic happen. And again, thanks for everybody for joining us here on Game Day After Dark and the Blue Bombers postgame show on Bonfire Sports in these final, as we had an hour-long weather delay and we got things started early. But take the wheel, Schnitzy. I'm going to try to record and replay this final possession of the game for people that weren't able to catch it live on TSN.
Well, let me just go back to Collaros's performances in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to 2022 Western Final against one
Schnitzy
interception.
Yeah. So Dalton Schoen caught a pass on first down, took about 6 seconds off the clock. Winnipeg is at the Ottawa 51 with 9 seconds remaining.
Hail Mary time. Well, they could probably get one. If they get it
That
out of
took
bounds,
6
they can
seconds.
probably get one pass in.
Here's Collaros dropping back. Clock down to 4 and 3. Across the middle, looking for Ontaria Wilson, and it falls incomplete. I don't know if the ball was completely on target, but there's 2 seconds left. Winnipeg needs to get 50 yards to the house, trailing by 4 with just 2 ticks left on the clock.
And you go to Ontario Wilson on a critical play. I don't love that either.
Well, no, you go to who's open.
Maybe he was the only guy open.
You don't say, oh, this is the guy we're going for, and you throw into triple coverage.
Well, no, not into triple coverage, but there's Dembski, there's Wolodarski.
Yeah,
there's
maybe they're all covered. Here's the final play.
All right, I'll
Collaros
shut up.
Pressured in the pocket. He escapes. Wow, he's going deep, and it's into a ton of traffic. It's underthrown, knocked down. Game is over. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have now fallen to 0-2 on the season with a 23-19 loss on the road in Ottawa to the RedBlacks. Ottawa improves to 1-0. Drew Brown gets his first win as a starting quarterback of the Ottawa RedBlacks. And, well, Winnipeg, here's the game summarized in my eyes. Sloppy play. Too little, too late. Too little, way too late. And Winnipeg is now at the bottom of the standings in the CFL. They played the first game of the week in week 1, played the first game of the week in week 2, and they're 0-2.
And that's exactly where they should be, DP. They didn't deserve to win this game. Had they won on a Hail Mary, I mean, that would have been incredible, especially with you doing the play-by-play live, but it wasn't going to happen. And this team didn't deserve to win this game. They did not deserve to win this game.
No, I agree. They did not deserve to win this game. Let's start talking about some of the reasons why Winnipeg didn't win this game. Walk us through, you've been very critical of the offense. Walk us through the special teams, the defense, and some of the things you saw there tonight as I pull up this final drive.
Yeah, in the mid-second quarter, Darrin, Collaros was 4 of 10 for 41 yards and a pick, and they had 1 rush. So from an offensive perspective, I just thought that there was zero creativity. Collaros was off again. He was he was under pressure. They weren't running the ball. Didn't seem to be running any plays to beat the pressure, screens, hitches, shallow crossers, whatever. Even to put Streveler in as a change of pace. I didn't get what Buck Pierce was doing, especially when it was clear that the interior of that O-line was having trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So the protection, right? But then Weedfall, that was a nice 76-yard bomb.
Agreed.
Wheat fall going for it all,
There you go.
right? Got all ball. Going to the hall? No, he's not going to the hall. Maybe he'll go to the hall. We'll see.
On with it.
I thought on again on defense, you had Jefferson with a nice sack. You had Adams with a sort of delayed rush by him, Darren, to get Drew Brown. I thought Drew Brown kind of, he is a dual threat quarterback in some ways. I thought he struggled on the run, and the
Mhm.
Bombers defense did at times put pressure on him. And when he escaped the pocket, he wasn't able to do much. He wasn't able to take off and run, and he wasn't able to find any Ottawa receivers down the field. So I thought they did a nice job on that. But I thought once Dietrich Nichols went out, that 33-yard on Ottawa's winning drive, I saw Justin Hardy burn Bridges on a 33-yard pass, and Bridges was slow to switch off on his guy. He had to take the outside guy, and I think if Nichols had been in there, I think he would have
Mm,
been able to prevent that. And,
fair.
and then you saw Holman Ford on the touchdown catch by Justin Hardy also failed to switch off, and maybe Bridges didn't struggle to switch off. Maybe he did. That's my notes. I don't remember it exactly, but definitely Holman Ford struggled to switch off on the Hardy TD catch, and Hardy was wide open, and Evan Holm was in the trail position. And all Ottawa did is they just, I don't know what it's called in football, but the inside and outside receiver just ran like an X,
Yeah.
and the DBs weren't able to switch off in time, and they got rubbed out, and it was an easy touchdown. So the defense did some okay things, but to be fair, you had Haba go down, you had Miles Fox go down. Uh, here's on a tangent though. With
Yeah.
Haba going down, is it time for Sean Oakman? This guy got released by the Argos. He's an athletic freak. I think he's like 6'7" or 8". He's
32 years
massive.
old, and maybe it was a money move for them to
Yeah.
release Sean Oakman. Maybe it's an injury issue or an on the field in the locker room issue. We don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think Winnipeg needs to explore. I think Winnipeg needs to explore all of their options right now if they are actually looking at, two defensive linemen, pardon me, three defensive linemen on the 6-game injured list. Haba did not look good. We'll pull up that the injury a little bit later, and we'll take a look at that as well as some other game highlights and this final possession for Winnipeg where they march the field and then can't get into the end zone in a loss. And if you're just joining us, we've been going live for a while now since the weather delay started, or pretty close to. Bombers lose 23-19 in Ottawa, fall to 0-2 on the season. But thank you for joining us, and everybody in the live chat. Awesome for that. If you're watching live on Instagram, head to youtube.com/bonfiresports. Just search Bonfire Sports Winnipeg on YouTube, on Facebook. You'll find us there and be able to see the whole video screen, and not just the kind of middle. Nothing we can do about it. That's the way Instagram works right now. But yeah, I mean, Schnitzy, to your point, I wonder if it is, lack of creativity for why Winnipeg struggled as much as they did. You know what? Pardon me. I didn't mean to change the subject. Winnipeg does need to look at if it's Taiwan Garbett, Cameron Lawson, and now Celestin Haba all on the 6-game injured list. They absolutely need to address that, and either, well, they'll probably definitely move some guys from the practice roster onto the regular active roster for next week's game, by the way, against the BC Lions. Big one.
Who had a crappy O line and gave up 6 sacks. I'd call Oakman right now.
Yeah,
You
I'd be
like
calling
that's
everybody.
because that's the only way they're going to win. The way
Yep.
they're playing, Darren, the only way they're going to win is if they pressure Vernon Adams and frankly injure him. Like they need to go off on
Well,
Vernon
hang
Adams and
on,
not
hang
give
on.
him time.
I
Yeah, I
don't,
don't want
I
to
don't,
injure
I
him.
don't
I'm just
like, I don't
joking.
like that. I don't like
No,
that.
I'm just joking. I'm
I know
just,
you
of
are.
course I don't want them to injure him. But
For
the only way they're gonna win, the way they're playing now, Darren, is they're gonna have to go off on Adams and pressure him and sack him. And Oakman is a freak. Like, bring him in. You're probably going to get cap relief on the 6th game for Haba. It looked like a non-contact knee injury. He's probably going to be on the 6th game. I don't want
Well,
to speculate, but I just did.
just for the people out there,
Excuse me.
if you're not familiar with the dynamic Schnitzy and I bring, he's the super fan. I'm the reporter. So we're going to handle information differently, right? That's what we're going to do. Schnitzy, you're going to speak from the heart. You bleed blue and gold, and we know you don't want anybody to get hurt. But
No.
that's why I'll keep you in check. To the point of Sean
fair
Oakman,
enough.
and you keep me in check too. Absolutely, that's no doubt about that.
I keep you in checkmate, buddy.
Yeah, your 4D chess, right? When it comes to Sean Oakman, it's not as easy as call him, bring him in, sign him. It's not that easy. Oakman might be taking on a whole bunch of offers. We don't know. Oakman might want too much money, and other teams are talking to. He might be hurt. He might have legal trouble. The Argos have made mistakes with that in the past with individual players. Maybe they just are, again, speculation here. We do not know what's happening with Sean Oakman, but it's not as simple as call him up and sign him. Winnipeg is probably looking at, all types of American free agents, both in the CFL, down south, wherever they may be. They're going to need the help on the D-line.
Well, and Hodge, I'll mention John Hodge again in his post-game article in 3 Down last week. He talked about how heavy the guys are on the D line, and he thought that was he'd never seen anything like it. Guys like 3-4 guys over 275. So I think they need a bit of a different look on the D line with maybe some lighter guys and guys with some more height. I don't know, but Miles Fox going down is tough. But D line is, you should be able to find D linemen.
Sorry, did Miles Fox go down?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is what I know. We're not going to get an update from the Blue Bombers team as far as that's just how they do business, right? I've been covering this team for well over 10 years now. We're not going to get any sort of update on the guys that got injured today. It was like pulling teeth getting Mike O'Shea to speak to the report that Kenny Lawler broke his arm, right? But indeed, he finally did. So when it comes to Miles Fox or Celestin Haba or Dietrich Nichols or any of these guys that we don't even know potentially got nicked up in this game, we're not going to know till they return to the practice field. Let me take a look here. Bombers will play on Friday at home against the BC Lions. That's June 21st. So Thursday will be walkthrough, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Monday, they might practice Sunday, but maybe Sunday or Monday will be the earliest we'll get any indication on those guys, right?
Can I just say one more thing about that final, because you're probably going to show it in a minute. Bombers, again, folks, Bombers can basically win on a walk-off touchdown from the Ottawa 7-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
How long did Buck Pierce have to scheme up a play for that situation? He had an hour.
Wow.
That's what he comes up with?
Look, football's not that easy, man. You're really simplifying it. Like, he had an hour to figure it out. Why didn't he score? Well, there's another team there too.
I get it, but did he give his chance, this team, the best chance to score there?
Think about it this way. He didn't have an hour to game plan. He had a week. And so too did Ottawa. And then you make in-game adjustments. What works, what doesn't. I do know this, Schnitzy, and I'm going to play the final drive in just a second for everybody out there. We're going to play it right here on GameDay After Dark, your Bombers postgame show on Bonfire Sports, live as we always do after the game. I'm going to play that final drive for people to show you how we went from watching the Blue Bombers do very little early in the game, figure some things out, stumble and bumble their way to, making it a close game and getting within striking distance, even taking the lead at one point really quickly, to flipping the field, getting down to the 7-yard line and then having 3 shots from goal distance and ultimately not making it happen. So you want to hang it on Buck Pierce not being able to figure it out? I would say, you know, they got that close. And then Ottawa and Damon Webb, most notably, with a huge play to break up a pass on 2nd and goal to Dalton Schoen. That would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And maybe they had the right play dialed up there. I'm just saying, I'm particularly talking, Darren, about first down. 7 yards to go. I would put in Chris Streveler. If they're going to load the box on Johnny Augustine and Chris Streveler, then do an RPO, fake the run, let the linemen bite, let the linebackers bite, and have Strevy take it outside. See what you can get. Maybe you get 3-4 yards. Then you only need to get 2-3 yards to get a touchdown. Then you can keep Strevy in. You saw him on a 3rd and 2 earlier in the game, and he got it easily. I just, that's what I would do. I get Buck Pierce knows way more about football than I do. And I get this is coming from a pissed off fan that I am right now. Like, to come that close in a game we had no business winning, Darren.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would be a different conversation right now if we'd won this game. And we could have won it. And you could argue from the 7-yard line to get a walk-off touchdown, we should have won it. With that offense, that's why Streveler was brought onto this team. That's why they got rid of Dakota Prukop. That's why they, made Drew Brown expendable. Although Brown, he needed to be the starter in this league, and he proved that tonight. That's why they brought Streveler in. Why are you dropping back and passing it 3 times in a row on the 7-yard line in a game where Collaros was getting hit and hurried all night long?
I love this comment from Bomber Fan, who agrees with you, Schnitzy. Bomber Fan, watching on YouTube. What's going on? Great to see everybody joining us live tonight. Streveler package should be automatic goal to go from the 7. We are only using him for the wedge play, making ourselves easy to defend, says Bomber Fan. Really great comment there. Schnitzy, I'm going to pull up the final drive here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we'll just kind of talk over it while we watch. This is the final drive of the game, or at least I guess Winnipeg's final full drive of the game, as they did get the ball back, for a Hail Mary opportunity. But this was once the game resumed after a 1-hour weather delay. Bombers trailing by 6 with 2 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 from the Ottawa 42. There it is, a nice hit to Dalton Schoen, pick up a 12 to get to the 30-yard line. You were saying that they should be running the football. They should be running the football. And it was pass play to Schoen. We're going to see another pass play to a wide open Drew Wolotarski to get them down to the 7-yard line as they're running the 2-minute drill here.
Yeah, and hey, you can't crap on it if it works, right? And,
well, you did.
Well, I crapped on it when it was the 7-yard line, buddy, not these 2 passes. And by the way, isn't it so CFL? Isn't there every game where you throw to the wide out, the Z receiver? That's the Z receiver, the Canadian they usually put on the wide side of the field. That there 1 or 2 times a game that is always open in the CFL.
Yep.
Every time.
There it is.
And they found it there. Credit the Bombers. I have no problem with what they did, and I know it worked, but I have no problem with what they did on these 2 plays.
Yeah, so at that point, they're down to the 7. So it's 1st and goal with just over a minute remaining, and Winnipeg trailing by 6. They need a touchdown, and here is the first attempt from goal. Pardon me, little Leon Draisaitl there. Here, I'll bring it back. Here's the play to Keurig Wheatfall. 1st and goal from the 7. Collaros has time. It's a quick play, but a fade route to the back corner.
And he's open.
Yeah.
He's got a step on the guy.
He misses a step on the guy. Yep. Yep. I don't hate the play calling here, Schnitzy. I don't hate it. I know you're critical of it. I do not hate the play calling. This is a 1-on-1. Money Hunter on Keurig Wheatfall. The ball's there. I'm going to pull it back. Yeah, there's Shay saying, shucks. if you will. This is a good play. That's a catchable ball. Maybe Kenny Lawler does his patented twist, elevation in the air, and twist up to catch the football. But it's not Kenny Lawler. You can't replace Kenny Lawler. I said that on CGOB's pregame show. I said that on our pregame show here on Bonfire Sports. You can't replace that talent.
Yeah, I hear you, but first of all, it's just
I don't hate the play. I'm just saying I don't hate the play call.
From the look, though, it looks like the ball, even if he catches it, he's out of bounds. So I think it was good coverage.
So now it's a good
Hunter.
play call, but it's Collaros. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's a good play call. I would have had Streveler in there, 100%. Bet my mortgage on it.
Okay.
No, I'm not betting my mortgage on it.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I'm glad I hope my wife isn't listening.
But
I would have put Strevy in.
That's not a bad thrown football at all, because you don't want to get picked off. Then it's game over no matter what.
I think Money Hunter had good coverage there too, but
he did. Yeah.
Here's
second.
A question.
Just let me say, this is 2nd and goal from the 7. Go ahead, Schnitzy.
Well, I'll watch this for a sec.
This was the Damon Webb knockdown, which was frankly incredible.
That was a good play.
Yeah, great play from Webb. But nice job from TSN here doing the breakdown and look, that's a game-winning touchdown right there. And Webb just came in and made, frankly, there's your bonfire burning point.
Yeah,
Winnipeg would have won this football game. I'm calling it right
although
there.
there was still 55 seconds left, and Ottawa would have only needed a field goal to win it. So I don't know.
So here's 3rd and goal, and we see the pressure on Collaros, and he just can't slip through. He just can't slip through. We'll watch it again here.
That's what Ottawa had been doing all game, pressure up the middle.
Yep. And trips him up. But the pressure is coming so balanced from the left and the right side that Collaros is forced to step up in the middle of the pocket, not escape to the outside like he's so good at doing. So is that on Stanley Bryant and Eric Lofton, the tackles? I don't know if it's on them specifically. I think that's great defensive play calling by the RedBlacks to contain Zach Collaros, because if Collaros breaks out of the pocket, okay, I'm just going to pause it here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse on the screen. Okay, I'm on Zach Collaros. If you see Collaros roll out one way or the other, that's very hard to defend. Not because he'll beat you with his legs, but it extends the play, it extends time, and then a receiver will get open and find a way, and Collaros will find him. But what Ottawa does is they contain Collaros. They contain him from scrambling to the outside. They know he's not going to do a big drop back, okay? It's 3rd and goal. Or pardon me, it's 2nd and goal. He's not going to do a 7-step drop and drop way back. Right here, Collaros is already saying, I might not have to step up in the pocket, because that pressure is pretty balanced from both sides. He's already collapsed here, right? He's already, I wouldn't say panicking, but he's already saying, I gotta do something, and nobody's open yet because it's been really, really quick. This is great defensive pressure from the RedBlacks. And here, it's a little bit of desperation. 74 of Ottawa right there to take Collaros down, trip him up. And
looks like Kolinkowski was struggling there again, to be honest.
Yeah, again, I don't see it as individual players. I see this as a unit versus a unit, and Ottawa winning. Ottawa just was better than the entire Bombers offense.
Absolutely. I will 100% agree with you on that, buddy.
Yeah.
Ottawa was better the entire night. That was a microcosm of the entire game. It was actually kind of a fitting way for the game to end on a night where the Bombers really struggled to contain that D-line. And, right up the gut, right in Zach's face, he gets brought down.
So for everybody watching out there, we are going to play more of this final possession of Winnipeg. Well, Ottawa as well. We'll watch the quick 2-and-out Winnipeg's defense was able to force, and then the final Hail Mary attempts, or at least the final Hail Mary attempt after Collaros was able to get on the other side of the field on the actual final possession of the game with just 20 seconds left or whatever. We will take a look at the Celestin Haba injury. I got two views of the Haba injury, non-contact, and looked quite serious. We're going to look at the Keurig Wheatfall big catch and run that set up the Blue Bombers score, because they're going to have to go with him without Kenny Lawler for a good stretch of time. A broken arm for the Bombers, all-star caliber receiver. And then, of course, we're going to look at the stats and try to answer some questions for you out there. Hit the live chat right now. Let us know what you want us to get into here on Game Day After Dark and then our Bombers postgame show on Bonfire Sports. We have got well over 1,000, well over 1,200 people watching live right now. If you're watching live on Instagram and you don't see the whole screen, head to youtube.com/bonfiresports or just open up your YouTube app, look for Bonfire Sports. You'll find us there. We are live, so you'll find us in the live stream. But for everybody out there too, hit the thumbs up. Or don't hit the thumbs up. I dare you to not hit the thumbs up. If we got 1,200 people watching, I'm thinking we can get some people to not hit the thumbs up tonight. And really, maybe most importantly than anything, don't tell your friends about the show. We don't want the word out.
No, we do not, my friend.
No, we do not.
And that is not reverse psychology.
That's right. I'm going to bring it back here. 1 second. So that was my bonfire burning point, the Damon Webb pass breakup on the touchdown shot to Dalton Schoen. You got a bonfire burning point tonight?
I do have a bonfire burning point. Let me, you're just throwing this at me. Let me get into my notes. Give me a second here.
Okay.
Give me a second.
I'll give you a second.
I had I had a bunch of burning points as the game went on because it kept flipping back and forth. But honestly, I think the Bombers were up 17-16, Darren. They had all the momentum. They were at midfield. They were looking good on offense. And Zach Collaros stares down, I think is it Alonzo Adai? Is that his name? Adai
Yep.
for Ottawa. He stares him down. He locks it on Schoen, underthrows the ball, and throws it right to him. And the guy has like a 30-something yard return. Totally flipped the field, set up Ottawa, and then they punch it in and go ahead. And that the Bombers never recovered. And I just thought, yeah, the first interception wasn't on Zach. It was tipped at the line, but that was all Zach, and it was just something you just couldn't do. And I think if he doesn't get the interception there, I think Winnipeg might win the game. They'd likely win the game.
Yeah. What you're just watching on the screen here, everybody, was Ottawa's final offensive possession where they went 2-and-out and Richie Leone forced to punt from around, inside their own 10. He starts standing on like the 2-yard line. And Myron Mitchell, Myron Mitchell was back to return, but Ottawa snapped the ball with like 20 seconds left. Leone runs into the back of the end zone. Here, I should have shown that. I'm looking at it and I'm not showing anybody. Here we go. Let's take a look. There we go. So they're going to run the clock down best they can to right around 19 seconds and take the single before Winnipeg had their final possession. But this is smart football from Ottawa. Killing the clock, taking the safety. Pardon me if I said single. Taking the safety to make it a 4-point ball game and give Winnipeg 14 seconds to work with, as they did not have to take a kickoff return here. They were just able to move the ball themselves. But I mean, Schnitzy, did defensively, do you think Winnipeg was okay tonight?
I think they were okay. To their credit, I think if Dietrich Nichols doesn't go out, I don't think Hardy has that 33-yard catch that set up the winning touchdown. I just don't think Dietrich Nichols would fail to. I believe the halfback and the corner had to switch off there. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're even throwing that way with Nichols in the game, right? Or is yeah, because Nichols is a boundary, right? But Nichols is the boundary halfback
Yes.
that went to the boundary, I think. So yeah, like I don't think they even throw that way with Nichols in the game. So I think that was a huge loss for the Bombers, and I thought the defense did okay. I mean, what did Ottawa win with 23 points? I mean, and a lot of short fields in the first half because of Devontae Dedman. Uh, yeah, I don't
Montreal
think
won with 23 points last week. Mm-hmm.
I don't think the defense did all that bad,
Agreed.
honestly, or
Yep.
badly, I should say, to be a grammar police on myself. But
Poorly.
poorly, yeah, I think they were okay. I
Yeah.
think they were okay. I
Uh,
don't know.
I didn't mind the defense. I mean, losing Celestin Haba, losing Miles Fox, losing Dietrich Nichols, who, as you know, Schnitzy very well, and all of our Bonfire OGs know real well. One of my favorite players, one of the best players in the league. Losing all those guys, I still thought, and Adam Bighill, I thought played pretty dang good, for his first game of the season. But in the end, I really do look at the Blue Bombers offense um, as a reason why they didn't win. Good comment here. Here's a talking point for you guys, says Bomber Fan on YouTube. Averaging 14 points per game, and that's including total garbage time TD by Johnny Augustine in week 1 versus Montreal. Valid point. Winnipeg's offense needs to be better. I don't care if they didn't have Brady Oliveira. I don't care if they didn't have Kenny Lawler, or they won't have Kenny Lawler for a stretch here. They need to be way better, way, way, way better. And in Buck Pierce's comments, as we, get a chance to talk to the assistant coaches in Winnipeg once a week, Buck Pierce told the media when asked, where do you need to be better? He said a lot of places, a lot of places. He said it twice. Okay. First words out of his mouth. They need to be a lot better in a lot of different ways. And I'm not going to, this is the way I look at football, Schnitzy. I'm not hanging it on one or two guys like, oh, well, if this O lineman was better, or if this receiver was better, often you can say, well, if the quarterback was better. I didn't hate Zach Collaros' game particularly. I did hate the Blue Bombers offense's game as a whole. No doubt.
Because of what they did on 7-yard line, Darren? Is that why you hated it?
Yep. Correct. I mean, no. As a whole, it was too, like I said, you're hanging it on that final drive where I thought they did
No, I'm
some
not
good
hanging
things.
it entirely on that drive. I thought the whole game they needed to be a little more creative.
My assessment, as I mentioned a little while ago, too little, way too late. They were completely out of sorts, discombobulated, effed up, shitty. They were no good. All of last week and half of the game, I would say, maybe even 3/4 of the game this week. The offense needs to be way better. I don't think anybody should be looking at any other area of this team. Well, they need a return game. Oh, they lost Janarian Grant. Oh, Jamarcus Hardrick and Stanley Bryant. They need to play better. They're good enough. They're not showing it. It's a problem. It's a problem right now.
It's a big problem, and I'm looking at the chat here. Seawalk 1985 says they're 0-2 with BC up next, right? And then they
Correct.
have Calgary on the road, and Calgary looked good. Calgary looked good in that first game. Jake Mayer looked good. It's the CFL. You can lose each week to weaker teams, but there's so much parity in the league. Like this could, like as Seawalk is saying, could go off the rails really easily. Could be looking at 0-3, 0-4. Not to say the sky is falling here, but this is a critical spot.
Here's Winnipeg's actual final possession of the game, where They hit Dalton Schoen for a good chunk to get to the 51, but just a few seconds left. And again, too little, too late. But the way they were able to get down to the 7 and they took 3 shots from the 7 and Schnitzy, I wouldn't say the more I think about it, I'm validating your point. Although I disagree, there's across the middle, pretty much the last opportunity there to
looks like
Ontario
Wilson maybe should have had that.
But Schnitzy, I want to validate your point. Okay. I want to validate your point. 3 shots from the 7, pass, sacked on the 3rd attempt. Great play from Ottawa's Damon Webb on the 2nd attempt. Fade route didn't get through on the 1st attempt, to do it in reverse chronological. I validate your point. They could have run the football. They didn't get the job done. So it's, you can chop it up however you want it. Here's Collaros throwing his Hail Mary attempt right at the end and short, but definite broken play there. As most Hail Marys are. Bombers fall to 0-2. I liked what I saw from the offense late in the game. That's why I'm like that. That's why my take of this game is they need to play better. I'm not saying they're bad, that they played, on the whole, awful. Too little, too late. And that's why, because they showed the ability to move the chains and make some things happen. And yeah, they weren't able to score and maybe they should have used Chris Streveler, this, that, the other. They have the ability. They have the talent. This isn't just because Kenny Lawler's out. This isn't just because Brady Oliveira's out. This is Winnipeg not playing well enough. You got the BC Lions on Friday night at Princess Auto Stadium, the Madhouse. BC has got a huge home game this week against Calgary. Friday night, I think. Is it Friday? It's CFL game of the week. 50 Cent's going to be there. 50,000 people. BC's going to be rolling coming out of that game. Okay? Winnipeg has to find a way to dig deep inside and play way better than they are right now.
Yep. You won't get an argument from me, buddy. And we have one thing we haven't talked a ton about is the special teams. And I'm looking at the chat here, and I hate to pile on a guy, but is this Myron Mitchell any good? Like, I didn't see any.
I don't see it as a problem. I don't see that as the problem here.
I don't see it as the biggest problem, but it's one of the issues that I'm seeing.
Well, I don't think it's a Myron Mitchell problem. I really don't.
No? What's the problem?
Just because you haven't heard of the guy, like, oh yeah, it's who is this guy? They need Janarian Grant.
Has he done anything to inspire you? Like even one play?
Special teams is not one dude.
I know that, but just the way he hits the hole, he doesn't.
Where did you see Myron Mitchell tonight not take advantage of an opportunity? He was swallowed up immediately. The blocking is not good. The cover teams aren't very good. When they're kicking the ball. Mike Miller needs to do a better job in ensuring his special teams are ready to go. I don't see it as a Myron Mitchell problem. Just saying. I really don't.
I mean, that's fair. I'll agree with you there. Like, he didn't have a lot to work with, but I don't see a lot of speed there, and I don't see him hitting the holes. Wow. Now, maybe there's not a lot of holes, but he also fielded a ball at like the 2-yard line. He should have let that go for a single. That's a fireable offense, I think, in some ways. You should know better than that.
Sam Malone with a couple great comments here. Long season. Yes, yeah, it is.
That's fair.
Yeah. But the Bonfire Sports Twitter account tweeted today. This is the regular season starts next week, right? Like back in the old Chris Walby playing days, 4 preseason games. No longer. Big thanks to everybody. Hey, don't hit that thumbs up button. Don't do it. And don't tell your friends. But thanks for everybody who's watching live. I'm being real with that. Well over 1,200 watching, only 70 likes. Doesn't make sense. Maybe I should stop telling people to not hit the like button. You don't want to do that. You don't want to comment. Looking at the stats though, Schnitzy. I'm going to pull up the team stats here if I can to get a look at Winnipeg's numbers versus Ottawa, kind of head to head. Total first downs. Winnipeg was able to pick up a handful of first downs in that garbage time. So maybe not exactly indicative of the football game we saw. This is always indicative. Second down conversion rate, 6 of 18. Do you know what that means? That means they went to third down 12 times out of 18 second downs. Ottawa, that's a much better percentage. To be close to 50%, that's a really good second down conversion rate. Offensive plays, Winnipeg had 49, Ottawa had 57. So when you start looking at the first downs being similar and Winnipeg having, quite a good chunk of offensive plays less, that tells you something. Average gain, Winnipeg 6.2. Well, yeah, they were taking some deep shots late there. Net offense, this does not tell the story. Schnitzy, what was the number you had for the offense through 2 quarters?
Oh, just the running that they had. They'd attempted 4 rushes for 11 yards.
Yeah. Well, on the game, 14 for 42 yards. You think they're missing Brady? I do.
Oh, 100% they're missing Brady. That's not a question.
Yeah. But I don't think it's the reason. Passing. Winnipeg was 48% passing to 60 for the RedBlacks. No wonder they were better on second down. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Collaros, I would hang one of them on him. The second one, not the first one. No INTs for Drew Brown, staying on brand. Drew Brown does not throw picks. Didn't throw picks in college. Didn't throw picks with the Blue Bombers. He ain't thrown picks in his first start with the Ottawa RedBlacks. And then moving over to big plays, Ottawa had a rush of 20 plus yards. Both teams had 2 passes of 30 plus yards. Again, garbage time. One of them, I guess, was the Keurig Wheatfall.
Yeah, but the other one was the Dembski. I don't think that was in the first half. So I don't think the Bombers piled it on. They piled on yards in garbage time in terms of passing, but not 30-yard passes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought that late one to that late. Well, yeah, it's 20-yard rushes and 30-yard passes. So yeah, maybe you're right. I was thinking 20-yard passes. They had a couple in the garbage time.
Right.
But moving over here to turnovers. You lose the turnover battle 3-0, you're going to lose a lot of football games. The fact Winnipeg was within a score inside the final 2 minutes is maybe a small silver lining, but they got to clean this up. That's awful.
Honestly, though, Darren, as a fan, it makes it even worse. The fact that they were outclassed like that, and they should, maybe arguably still had a chance to win the game and should have won the game with less than a minute left.
2 sides to that coin, yeah. 2 sides to that coin.
And then they lose it. Oh, it's awful.
But look at this, 9 penalties for 105 yards for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Winnipeg, 48. I don't know, 5 penalties hurts because a lot of those are off the field killers, as the Blue Bombers will call them, meaning those penalties, while the yards might not be there, it takes them off the field. Penalties declined and penalties that, just force a loss of down. But 9 for 105 for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Good grief. Winnipeg could not take advantage of that. So this was a winnable game for Winnipeg. And my opinion, I strongly feel this way. The offense didn't do enough. Nowhere near enough.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, they simply weren't good enough. And we were talking about the special teams, and I thought one highlight was Chris Ike had a nice special teams tackle and Devontae Dedmon in the third quarter. I thought Sheehan had a magnificent punt. It was kind of
Great
like a
punt.
sidewinder 70-yard punt in the third quarter, which I thought was just phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I thought he played well. So those are a couple of the highlights. But the kick coverage in the first half was not good. They weren't opening up holes for Mitchell, but I just saw him dancing around. I didn't see him hitting the holes, even if there weren't very many holes. I didn't see any burst from him, Darren. I got to be honest. I'm not saying that would have changed the game very much.
Burst.
I
Didn't
didn't
that
see any
like
burst.
what opportunity did he not show any burst? He didn't have
Well,
any
don't
opportunity.
when you catch the ball, that's when you're supposed to show burst.
Oh,
You
okay.
catch the
Yeah,
ball, you
with two
size up.
tacklers, with two tacklers on your right and one on your left and nowhere to go. Yeah,
I
you
don't think
better show
not.
some burst into a tackle.
I don't think he had two tacklers right on him every single time. There were times, like on a kick return, you don't have tacklers on you every time. Maybe a punt return.
You pull up that moment. That's your
I don't.
homework. I'm giving you homework this week, Schnitzy. You show me. You show me where he could have been better. Okay.
I'm not skilled enough technically to pull up things like that,
Oh,
Darren.
yes,
You know that.
you can watch. You'll watch the game. I know you watch the game 2 times
I'm
sometimes.
not watching this game again. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stomach it.
Hey, if you're out there in the live chat and you know a moment in the game where Myron Mitchell did not enough, please let us know. Please let us know.
Well, folks, we're about to get to our big. We already did the burning point, but we're about to get to our awards. Like,
Well,
who was
first
your
things first.
Wallabies warrior?
First things first.
What?
Okay. Big ups to
Oh, yeah.
Scotswood Links. The city courses are wet. Scotswood Links, it's just 30 minutes outside the city. Okay. Southwest, McGilvery, perimeter, 25, 30 minutes, you're there. Scotswood Links is dry, in great shape. They had great moisture, just the right amount this spring and early. Well, it's not early summer yet. I guess we still got 8 days until the first day of summer. But they have had great moisture, the right amount this spring. This is the front nine you're looking at right now. Scotswood Links. That's Scotswood with 1 T. Scotswoodlinks.com to check them out. You want to go. The greens are in fantastic shape. They have done a ton of work over the last number of years, including a beautiful new clubhouse, patios, the food, the drinks, everything is great there. Great people. Shout out to the Sisson family and for supporting us. What you're seeing here is the front nine, or I think maybe it's the beginning of the back. No, this is the end of the front nine. The back nine. So the front nine, as you're seeing here, Prairie Meadow. Back nine, Prairie Forest. So go check them out, scotswoodlinks.com, Scotswood with 1 T. And if you go to scotswoodlinks.com/bonfire, you're going to see a promo where you're going to get a nice healthy discount on a foursome with power carts. So if your course in the city is a little wet, go check them out at Scotswood Links. You're not going to be disappointed. Big thanks to them.
Indeed.
Wallabies
If
Warrior.
I golfed, I would go there. But yeah, like people in the chat hit us up. Who's your Wallabies warrior? What's the Westwoods ride to the right? What's your happy honker? Who's your game ball? Let's hear from you.
Love it. Let's go. My Wallabies warrior tonight. I'll give it to Johnny Augustine. Just maybe didn't have a ton of opportunities. I don't know. Is that a good choice? Maybe I should go with someone on the defense. I'll give it to Adam Bighill. I thought he played well in his first game of the season coming off injury.
You thought he played well, eh? What
Yep.
makes you say that?
Made good tackles, helped in the goal line stand. Defense didn't play particularly bad tonight, and he's the quarterback of the defense.
Okay.
Like he laid a smack on who was it? Was it the tailback?
Ruckamore or whatever. What's his name?
Yeah. I thought Biggie played well. That's my Wallabies warrior. Take
Okay.
it. Take it or leave it, Schnitzy. I don't care if you leave it. What do you guys think? Who's your Wallaby warrior tonight?
I like what Andrew Haleko is saying. Devin Adams stood out early with especially with the sack. For me, It was actually Redick Ramsey, our Sam linebacker.
Oh yeah, he was physical.
Dimebacker. I thought he was physical. I thought he rallied to the football well. I didn't see him get burnt at all. He had 7 total tackles, 1 on special teams, 1 tackle for a loss, and I thought he had a really really nice knockdown at one point in the game when the Ottawa was on second down. So
Love
he's
it.
my warrior. I That's a tough position to play on the defense, as you've talked about, DB. Right? You've got to be able to stop the run at times, but you're really a DB. It's a hybrid position, and I thought he played well.
You got a Westwood wide to the right. Something that you didn't like from the game tonight.
Yeah, I just thought, again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but the interior O line problems, second week in a row. Last week was
Good
particularly
call.
Mustafa Johnson.
Good
I
call.
think tonight they had issues again. Zach was pressured all night, and I just think they have to tighten that up. And it's a work in progress. I'm not saying the season's over. Kolinkowski is relatively new. He had a great season last year, so we know he's capable. I think is Neufeld lost a step? I don't know. He's looked like a little bit shaky in the first couple of games, so I'd like to see that tighten up. But they were my wide to the right.
Yeah, I'll give it to the weather delay, but yeah, uh, I like your wide to the right. Um, I'm not putting. I really don't want to put it on the individuals. I think the offensive line as a whole. Bryant, Dobson took a bad penalty tonight.
Yeah,
Kolinkowski, Neufeld, Eric Lofton. You know, when Tuieli comes in with the tight end sets, I don't think any of them played well. I don't think any of them have played well yet this season, because in order to play well as an offensive line, you have to be consistent. What good is it if you're only good 2 out of 3 plays or 6 out of 8? Because those 2 plays where you're not good, you're going to force a turnover. You're going to get your quarterback killed. They haven't been good. We went through the bonfire burning point much, much earlier. Walby's Warrior, Westwood's right to the right. You got a Happy Honker award tonight.
yeah. I thought the happy honker. Now I hope he wasn't injured, because that would be harsh. But when when of all people, Jeremiah Masoli, he's not even playing. He's on the sidelines, dressed in his RedBlacks gear, goes down. I just thought, like, what's
Here it
going
is.
on here? The guy
Here it
wasn't
is.
even playing. He looks like he's sweating. Maybe that's just the rain on his head.
So we talked about this
Uh,
a little earlier. Jeremiah Masoli is on the 6-game injured list. And there's his former college teammate, or pardon me, former Ticats teammate Zach Collaros giving Masoli a little bit of a tap on the back there. But Masoli down on the sideline, and he's on the 6-game injured list. Like, he injured late last season, and they hope to get him back later this year. But I don't know if somebody ran into him on the sideline or what exactly happened, but he was down getting attention from trainers. It's a very strange moment. That's your
yeah.
well, that's not your happy honker.
Well, you haven't played the sound effect yet. So what
Oh, I thought I
is there?
did.
Is there a happy honker? Yeah, as I say it now, that's not really a happy honker. It's not really a
It was
lighthearted
a
moment.
weird moment. It's a
It's kind
weird
of a
moment.
weird, sort of
Yeah.
sad moment. Uh, I don't know if I have a happy honker. Maybe I'll steal one from the chat here, because oh yeah, Waiters has a good one. Waiters 27. Westwood ride to the right. Rod Smith saying first down in Ottawa when they were 4 yards short. I remember that. I think Ottawa was like 2nd and 20, and it looked like a good gain, and it was. It was like a 16-yard gain, but they were they were a few yards short, and he said first down Ottawa.
Yeah.
That's a happy honker moment.
I'll
Thank
pull
you,
up
Waiters.
I'll pull up Kyle John's comment here. Masoli 2 torn ACLs. It was an Achilles injury and an ACL on 2 different legs. Just
Oh,
to
really?
clarify.
Oh,
So
rough.
I sure hope we see Jeremiah Masoli back. Hey, I like this from Andrew Haleko. I'll go with you, Andrew. Thanks for joining us, by the way, on Game Day After Dark. Happy honker for Drew Brown.
Yes, that's a good pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. Uh, Scott Roger, that's a good one. Happy honker. No microchips in the field goal kicking balls. Like that. Game balls. Schnitzy, who do you want to give a game ball to tonight, despite the Bombers losing this game 23-19?
Well, I have two game balls. The first one I'll give to Kirik. Is that how I say his name? Kirik
Keurig.
Wheatfall?
Yeah.
Kirik?
Keric. Keurig.
Keio.
Keurig. Whichever.
Well, you got to find out in your post.
Ontario Wilson is Pokey. That's his nickname.
Right.
Pokey Wilson.
Yeah.
Keurig.
Pokey.
Wheatfall. I mean, well, he could be the Wheat King if he can pull in a couple touchdowns, and he's a Prairie boy playing for the Blue Bombers. Call him the Wheat King, Keurig Wheatfall.
The Wheat King.
But he's got to do something first.
Well, he's got to get a touchdown. He didn't quite have a touchdown, but he had 100 and I don't know if that was the final number, but at one point he had 111 yards. I thought he had a bit of a breakout game. So yeah, good for him. He gets a game ball from me, and my other game ball, maybe a bigger game ball, goes to Drew Brown. As much as I hate losing this game, I'm happy for Drew Brown. He's a guy that we not drafted, but we scouted, that we developed. The Bombers don't really, they're not known for drafting or developing quarterbacks.
He's a Danny McManus find, right? Oklahoma State, after some time at the University of Hawaii.
I think Danny McManus is the last quarterback we actually developed in Winnipeg. Honestly. Maybe Kevin Glenn, but I think Kevin Glenn started in Saskatchewan.
Well, and Kahari Jones, I think, was somewhere before Winnipeg too.
He was before, yeah. I don't think we've ever, since McManus, developed a quarterback. But Drew Brown, honestly, if someone in the chat can prove me wrong, please tell me. But maybe Streveler you could throw in there, but he's never been a bona fide franchise quarterback. Tell me a quarterback the Bombers have developed in the last. A good quarterback, a starting quarterback, the Bombers have developed in the last 30 years, 40 years.
I'll give a game ball to Keurig Wheatfall for 3 catches on 5 targets for 111 yards, including a 76-yard catch and run, which was outstanding. Let's see if I got it here. I do. All right. Here's the Keurig Wheatfall play. Reason I'm giving him a game ball tonight. I thought he was very, very good. Apologies if this is a little blurry. It does clear up in a second, but Collaros, great ball here. Keurig Wheatfall just running past, like outrunning the coverage, right? And that was Money Hunter that he was able to run by. Wheatfall was really, really good. I'll give him one of my game balls. I will give a game ball to your Walby's Warrior. So I'm stealing it from you tonight to that guy right there. Reddick Cramdy, Blue Bombers dime backer. There he is with Mike O'Shea, number 6 in your program, number 1 in the physicality department tonight. Reddick Cramdy gets a game ball from me. Here's another look at the Keurig Wheatfall 76-yard catch and run. Great job by him. And, it was the safety help coming over. See that right there? Do you see how much time Zach Collaros had? When he gets time, there's nobody better. So while some of us will look at the Blue Bombers' offensive numbers and say, well, Collaros was 48% for 285, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Like, look, that's on the QB, but it's also on the offensive line. I don't think Winnipeg did anywhere near enough to protect Zach Collaros, to give him time to operate. And look, when you're 15 of 31, some of that's on the quarterback. And the 2 interceptions, one was a tip ball. I'd put that on the entire offensive line, whatever, the protection. The second interception, he had enough time. He was pressured a bit, but an underthrown football across the middle. Winnipeg's offensive line, Winnipeg's offense as a whole, Schnitzy, needs to be better. They have not been anywhere near good enough so far this season, sitting at 0-2 right now. So game balls to Keurig Wheatfall for a good game. I mean, Dembski, 3 catches on 5 targets for 58 yards. He averaged 19.3 yards per catch.
Yeah.
I mean, Wheatfall, you have a 76 yarder that bumps your average up, but he was dang good too with 3 for 111. Dalton Schoen, 4 of 8. One we know could have been the game-winning touchdown, but Damon Webb stepped in there with a heck of a play. My Bonfire burning point tonight. But Schoen, Dembski, Wheatfall, Ontario Wilson, those are the guys that Winnipeg is really going to have to rely on without Kenny Lawler for a stretch. And we'll see about Brady Oliveira. Keep it locked to Bonfire Sports. We'll give you an update as soon as we know on Sunday, maybe Monday, when the Bombers return to the practice field.
How about a game ball or a shout out to the 1,259 people watching live right now, DB? That is just awesome. And good call on what?
To the 81 who did not listen to me and they hit the thumbs up. Don't do that. Don't hit the thumbs up. Don't go there right now.
Well, and good call on you for the audible, buddy. Buck Pierce didn't seem to call enough audibles, in my opinion, but you called an audible starting the show during the weather delay. I was like, what? Yeah. I'm going to miss the game. We can't start. And you're like, what are you worried about? We can still watch the end of the game. I was like, oh, yeah. That was
and you know what?
Dumb
Guess what?
I didn't think that through, did I?
This is the only place you're going to see the highlights like we did. And what did we do? It wasn't live, but we were live, letting you know what was happening as it was happening. And then a few minutes later, we showed you the final possessions of the game. Winnipeg getting down to the goal line, the quick 2 and out they forced, and Richie Leone taking the safety to bring the game to within 4. And then Winnipeg with that Hail Mary opportunity and chopping it up, talking about the play calling, talking about the lack of protection, the lack of creativity with Chris Streveler, and so much more. That's all because of you out there, people. You're the fire starters. You're the ones that keep not this fire stoked, but this fire stoked. So thanks to you, and thanks to our sponsors as well. Do have to mention, of course, huge this year has been Pure Lifestyle. They have strength and conditioning, occupational health, physiotherapy, wellness, executive health programs. You can check out the Allurion Balloon program if you're diabetic, or if you just want to turn things around with your weight and your overall health. Pure Lifestyle is not just a gym or a medical clinic. They are Winnipeg's premier advanced health facility. If you need a doctor, they can help you. They have a new minor injury walk-in clinic. So no longer do you need to wait for hours and hours at Pan Am or at the emergency room. Go to Pure Lifestyle at the end of Empress Street, 1129. I'm going to pull up the address here in case I forgot. 1129 Empress Street. You can find them at purewinnipeg.com or give them a call, 204-338-7873. Look at this gym. No judgment zone. I go there. I know a lot of people that go there. The people are awesome. That's probably the best part of Pure Lifestyle, Schnitzy, is the people are awesome. I've always felt really comfortable. I've never been a gym guy. I don't like it. I don't like the Instagram world, like people taking pictures and people, you got these big dudes and these all types of people doing their thing. At Pure, it's super laid back, super comfortable. It doesn't matter your age or your inclination in any way. You're going to feel comfortable there. So check them out at purewinnipeg.com. I go there and I'm not going anywhere else. They're awesome.
They are. I've been there too, and it was a good experience. And also, like you've said before, if you're usually, if you have an injury and you have to line up at 6:30 in the morning at Pan Am Clinic to get in, and this is an alternative.
6:30 p.m.
I think we need to add a new award, Darrin.
Okay, what do you got?
Like a comment or commenter of the night. Because we always have so many good comments. I don't know how easy it is to
Do you
pick
got a
them
comment of the night? You got one?
Well, I do, because it makes me sound good. But I'm going to go with Seawalk 1985 from a little bit back. He says, Mitchell is too indecisive, dances around, looking for a seam, Darren. To my point, was always told, a returner, you dance, you die. I
Yeah.
love that. It sounds like it's from Game of Thrones, right?
You
Like, you
dance, you
dance, you
die.
die. I love that Seawalk, and I particularly love it because you come up on my side there, buddy, talking about Mitchell,
Exactly.
right? DB saying, "Oh, it's the blockers, it's the blockers." Give me some burst, Mitchell.
Yeah. Uh, did you know, Schnitzy, that I got us tickets to the Gold Eyes
What?
game on Tuesday?
No. Did
Oh,
you
I
ask
did.
my wife if I could go?
I didn't. No.
Then what are you doing, buddy?
Well, if you can't go, then I'll bring the lady, or I'll
how
find
did
somebody.
how did waiters know about that?
He didn't. He's
Mm.
asking, will we be at the Gold Eyes game for WST? Yeah, we'll be there.
Oh, is
But
that the
this is,
WST game? Oh, nice.
yeah, that's right. Well, just like last year when we went, and we got to meet
Oh,
a
yeah,
ton
yeah,
of
yeah.
people. Got to meet a ton of people.
Oh,
Tico Napoli, I hope to see you
oh, I
there.
love that.
Yeah,
Kona, you got to be there, buddy. Who else was there last year? Phyllis was there.
tons of
Jeff
people.
Cabillas was there. The
Yeah, it,
world
it was
exploded
it
when
was
Jeff
awesome.
Cabillas and I locked horns.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
Tristan Rivers, who
Oh
ended
yeah.
up remixing a bunch of Chris Walby music.
Yes.
To that point, I want to mention this. For all of you out there, this is all you got to do. You got to remember, if it comes to the Blue Bombers, and like we got some hockey coming this winter, no doubt. But when it comes to the Bombers, pregame, postgame, every game live here on Bonfire Sports. Chris Walby, the legend in the Ring of Honor, in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, the greatest Canadian O-lineman to ever play the game. He joins me live every week. We go and live Game Day Winnipeg the day before the game, 3 o'clock. You're going to find links to everything on BonfireSports.ca. Get us on YouTube, on Instagram, on the social medias, Bonfire WPG. You'll find us, Bonfire Sports Winnipeg, on YouTube. And then, of course, Schnitzy, you and I will do this all season long. Preseason, regular season, playoffs, Grey Cup. We got you here. Pre-game, post-game, every game on Bonfire Sports. You and I will fire up Game Day After Dark on Friday night when the BC Lions come to town. Oh, that's going to be a big game.
That's going to be a huge game. Not the least of which is because I'm bringing another Winnipeg media darling, Mr. Ezzy Ginsburg.
Oh, Illegal
from
Curve.
Illegal Curve. Bring in Ezzy. I want to show him a good time at the Bomber game with my sweet seats in section 128. And I hope to show him a win. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. They're not going to go 0-3. That can't happen to the Bombers, can it?
Yeah, it can. I said it on the pregame show with Walby day before yesterday, day before the game, live at 3 o'clock. We always do it. I said, if Winnipeg loses in Ottawa, which they did last year, by the way, you coined the term. Now everybody calls it the crumback. You coined the term, Schnitzy. If Winnipeg loses in Ottawa, which they did, big trouble. Winnipeg is in big trouble right now. They got BC. Let's look at the schedule. Here, I got the schedule right here. Let's look at the Bombers' schedule. Where did it go? Oh, of course I lost it. Look, here's the Bombers' schedule. I got it on paper. Okay? We'll show everybody here. Okay? Here's the Bombers' schedule. Is it going to be in focus? Oh, this is terrible. Never mind. Never mind. They have got the BC Lions on June 21st. They are at Calgary on June 29th. Home to Ottawa. Home to Calgary. At Saskatchewan. And then at Toronto. These are all winnable games. We'll see what Calgary has against BC tomorrow night, Friday night. Friday night is CFL game of the week, in my opinion. 50 Cent, but more notably, Lions, Stampeders. 0-1 Lions, 1-0 Stampeders. We'll see what the Stamps have and if that Jake Mayer performance was an anomaly. But Winnipeg has BC at home, at Calgary, home to Ottawa for a rematch, home to Calgary for a rematch. Before going to Saskatchewan, which I wasn't super impressed with Saskatchewan despite their win. I thought Edmonton just handed them that game. So Winnipeg is in trouble at 0-2, but the sky isn't falling. It's a long, long season. And thank you, Jeffrey. You're right. Saturday night, 50 Cent. Monday night in Winnipeg, Snoop Dogg is going to be in town. I'm going. Are you going?
No.
No? How about
I'm
everybody
not
out
going.
there?
That's my, what is it? What I think that's my 12-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that might take precedent.
I mean, we could have gone to Snoop Dogg for a wedding anniversary.
Yeah,
Isn't
well,
it
look,
amazing that I've managed to be married for 12 years? It
I
shocks
am
me.
blown away. I am blown away. Your wife is a saint.
Oh my God. Absolutely. He gets a game ball every day for being with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Like, look, if you miss your 12th wedding anniversary, I know you're not coming to the ball game on June 18th. I know you're not.
I'm a married man with 2 kids. You can't tell me like 5 days before. You got to give me like 2 months notice, Darrin. Got to do this. I got to put the get a bit, make
You got to
sure
what's it called? You got to build a little currency, a little bit of some brownie points.
Someone was asking here, Andrew Haleko asking, how do we get Bonfire merchandise? That's my Westwood wide to
I'm
the right.
working on it.
Darrin. Come on.
This is the problem. Shipping. I don't know how to get the merchandise to you. And I know other channels have done merch. I want to make sure the quality is really good. I want to make sure that, it's not just the Bonfire logo slapped on something, that it's good quality stuff, because I don't know if you noticed, the quality of this show is important to me. That's why we bring you video highlights. That's why I got outstanding individuals like Schnitzy, Zach Schnitzer, Chris Walby,
very kind of you.
all of the contributors we've
I
had
love
here.
I love how you put me in the same conversation as Chris Walby. Like, my dad is rolling over in his grave. There is no reason for me to be in the same conversation as Chris Walby. Are you 63, Bluto? Are you kidding me?
I like this from Jeff Cabillas. If there's any association between you and Chris Walby, Schnitz, it's Walby's Warrior being your wife.
Yes, that's true.
There you go.
That's true. But you know what? Maybe we need to have a bonfire event where we just hand out merchandise to people or whatever.
Yeah, or we could do like a pickup or something like that. Yeah. Everyone will come to your house.
854 Hazeldale, folks.
Oh, great callback. Great callback. Bonfire Sports first inside joke.
I think that was Tico Napoli who threw that one down originally, but I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
great seeing everybody. Thanks for joining us. Big thanks to Scotswood Links, Scotswood with 1T, scotswoodlinks.com, Pure Winnipeg, Pure Lifestyles, purewinnipeg.com. Be sure to check them out. Support the sponsors that support us. And of course, big thanks to all of you out there watching live on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We are not on TikTok. You're welcome. Do not hit that thumbs up. Do not subscribe. Do not ring the bell so you'll know when we are live here on Bonfire Sports. We go live during the game sometimes, just like we did tonight with the weather delay. So don't ring that bell because you don't want to know when we're live, and you can join the party with 1,000 plus as we got tonight. Bombers are 0-2. Everyone's watching. Everybody's wondering what's coming next. We got you covered here. I'll have updates from practice all throughout the week. So watch our Instagram at BonfireWPG, my Twitter at Darrin Bauming, at Zach Schnitzer 48. You'll find links to all those in the video description below. But don't hit that thumbs up. Don't subscribe. Do not comment. How dare you even think about it? You don't want to join the 1,200 plus that are here tonight as I watch everybody hit the thumbs up. What did I just tell you guys? Don't do it. Don't do it. But this was fun, Schnitzy. I'll let you get to your bride of 12 years. Congratulations. I hope you make it to a baker's dozen, man.
I really hope so too. Like, yeah, I have to do some sacrifices and read the tea leaves. I got to see if, I got to make sure everything's in my favor. I'll need all the gods in my favor to make it to 13.
You'll make it. Sign us out as you always do, man, as the Blue Bombers drop to 0-2 on the season, 23-19 loss to Drew Brown and the Ottawa RedBlacks tonight.
Sayonara, everybody. Sayonara.